bonani kusaseka ka Esther, Esther's finest hour. In our overpopulated community society, it is easy to underestimate the value of one. Eugene Peterson utsala leswi uri, whenever there are God's people, there will always be enemies of God. Esther uri, I'm putting my neck on the line. If I die, I die. I am a soldier of the cross. I will fight for God. Maka ya kumunhu ayima arieshe, the significance of one. It is important to stand alone, even when others do not agree with you. God is not frustrated by your refusal to stand for him, because if you don't, God can use someone else. Na leswi vula yini ka hina? Esther u swi vonile leswaku ku ni nala loyi a fanele ku ya lwisiwa. Not only an enemy for a people, but most importantly, an enemy of the living God. As soon as she realized she softens, the softness of a palace became uncomfortable. Atwa swa le vuhosini swi nga n'wi tsakisi, a vona leswaku u fanele ku ya a ya lwela vanhu vakwe. The realization of presence of enemies causes us to reassess our priorities. It calls for us to be soldiers of the cross. Soldiers who will sing, I'm a soldier of the cross, I will not fear his cause. Loko swa ha ri tano, we have to rise and stand against something. What are you going to stand alone to answer God's call in times like this? Hi nkarhi lowu wa coronavirus, hi nkarhi lowu wa gender-based violence. Allow me to mention some things that you may need to consider. Are you involved in helping dysfunctional families that are prone to gender-based violence? How about those who are suffering the violence of homelessness and hunger? Lava tlelaka va nga dyangi nchumu, hi endla yini hi vona? How about those who are addicted to drugs and alcohol, lava hanyaka eka mindyangu leyi nga very violent? How about our church orphans and widows? Hi endla yini hi vanhu vo fana na lava kerekeni ya hina? Where do we stand when it comes to gender-based violence? Where do we stand loko ku xanisiwa vavasati na vana? What are we saying about the horror of sexual abuse? What are we saying about financial and emotional abuse? If we are to be like Queen Esther, we have to stand for something. We have to do something to stand up and be counted. We must be able to say, I stand against this. If I perish, I perish. In conclusion, there are two principles that we can look at. The first one, let us look at the difference from theory to action. The second one is the difference of one. Not until we believe that one person can make a difference will we be willing to take risk. Muimbeleri simara kahle ako God of grace and God of glory, grant us wisdom, grant us courage that we fail not men nor thee. Hi pfuni hosi leswaku hi minkarhi wo fana na lowu, hi awara yo fana na leyi, hi nga disappointi vanhu kumbe wena. Loko hi move from theory to action, hi vula yini? Hi vula leswi. Our consistent small action makes a difference. Are you silent when you should not be? Un'wana mudyondzi u tsala leswi uri, knowledge we ask not, vutlhari hi na byona, kambe hosi hi kombela leswaku u hi pfuna, u hi endla leswaku hi va na mintirho. We in the EPCSA are very strong on theory. We are great on theological theory. We are great on theological theory, we are great on moral theory, but will not be rewarded for the theory. It is the deeds which will be rewarded for. Only when we move from a safe harbor of theory of taking gender-based violence in the EPSA to the world of reality do we make a difference by training our young men and women to live violence-free lives and to resolve their differences in peaceful means. And we as adults become more of a role model worth emulating to all who are beginning this life journey of family building. I ended Shangwanchumu in gender-based violence, both as individuals and as a church. Mintiro ya hina ayibulabuli. Let us learn from God. Xikwembu xi rhandzile misava swonghasi, and he did something about it. Xiko xi rhumela n'wana wa xona la nga tswariwa a ri un'we leswaku un'wana ni un'wana la pfumelaka yena a nga lovi. God loved us and he did something. Now we must do something about gender-based violence. The question is, what do you think and what have you done about gender-based violence? We are calling all those with evil intentions, like Haman, and all perpetrators of gender-based violence to stop it. We are calling on all true men and males, Mordecai, to report and shun perpetrators of gender-based violence and report them to the authorities with immediate effect. We cannot continue harming women and children without repercussions. God will avenge these poor people that we are harming. Look at Queen Esther. What a model she is. A woman with courage to match her conviction in a very difficult period in history. That is why today we are calling all our Esthers. Today, all our women are Esthers. They are our stars. They are shining in our lives. They are our queens. That's why we're calling all our Esthers who leads our homes. Ba Estere, laba rangelaka mindyangu ya hina. Baba Sati, laba rangelaka mindyangu ya hina. We're calling on you today. We're calling on all our Esthers who are leading the Sunday school. Esther, who leads our Sunday school, we're calling on you. We're calling ba Esther, ba nyeleti wa hina, laba rangelaka youth fellowship movement. We're calling on you, Esther. We're calling our Nkanyezi, our Naledi, our Nyeledi, who are leading church choir. We're calling our Esthers who are leading the Blue Cross. We're calling our Esthers who are leading in the zones, emigangeni. We're calling our Esthers who are leading in the church councils. We're calling our Esthers who are leading in the consistory. We're calling all our Esthers lava mi rhangelaka, lava mi fambisaka ntlawa wa manana. Hi ri n'wina vanyeleti wa hina, n'wina va Nkanyezi, n'wina va Naledi, n'wina va Hadasa, n'wina ba Esther, step forward and demonstrate the power of a woman in times like this, in times of the corona pandemic and gender-based violence. Step forward and lead. Esther demonstrated the power of a woman in such a time as this. Now it is your time. Now it is your hour. May the God of grace and the God of glory help you to do what is right in times like this, to protect your families, to protect your husband, to protect even the perpetrators of gender-based violence, and help us all, our mothers, our wives, our women, our Esthers, to do what is right in front of God in times like this. Amen. Let us sing together the hymn, God of grace, God of glory. The glorious flag, grant us wisdom